Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Rambeard, and today we're gonna talk about one of the few Blackrock orcs we allied ourselves with, Ariok. We learn a lot about this orc in the Burning Steppes, during the awesome questline there. Ariok's legacy is a great one. He is the son of Eitriggs, the great orc veteran, advisor to both Thrall and Garrosh. Eitriggs' parents were both Blackrock orcs, and Ariok's mother was too, probably. Eitriggs has a lot of backstory, but Ariok is never really mentioned until the Cataclysm, where he is already full grown. During the Burning Steppes questline, we learn that Ariok spent the majority of his youth in Blackrock Mountain, so I guess it's safe to say that Ariok and his father were separated when Eitriggs was fighting in the First and/or Second War, after which he eventually joined Thrall and ventured to Kalimdor. There's a gap in the lore here, and it seems odd that Eitriggs would just leave his son in Blackrock Mountain, but oh well. As we enter the Burning Steppes, we go to Flamestar Post, where we begin to learn a lot about the zone. At the post we meet Mouton Flamestar of the Thorian Brotherhood, and Ariok. Ariok tells us about an upcoming plan of the Blackrocks, and that he'll need an ally in the battle to come. We are to prove ourselves to him by killing Blackrock whelpers and some whelplings. Mouton asks us to retrieve some uncorrupted whelplings and bring them to the post. After we're done, Ariok trusts us somewhat. He tells us his Blackrock brothers betrayed him countless times, and that he has been helped a lot by the Thorian Brotherhood, so we now know where his affiliations lay. He tells us the Blackrock plan on invading the Redridge Mountains without any good reason, and so Ariok has devised a plan to stop them. He starts us off by gathering all sorts of materials, scorpion stingers, wolf hides, patches of mud. We bring the items to him, and he says his father Eitriggs is waiting for us to the east. Before we go, however, we are to retrieve a couple more items, some slumber sand, some fell slider cider, and a clear glass orb. We quickly get these items and return to Ariok. Together with him, we make for Chiselgrip to the east, and on our way there we kill a nice bunch of Blackrock troops already, Ariok fighting by our side. We reach the Dwarven town, and aside from helping out the Thorian Brotherhood members there, we meet Eitriggs himself. Apparently, his war chief allowed him to come to the Burning Steppes to make sure the Blackrock do not succeed, as this land lays so close to his heart, of course. From here on out, we mainly work with Eitriggs rather than Ariok, but Ariok is still present all the time. As Ariok is still present, I will tell you about the rest of the questline, but I'll skim through it rather quickly. I'd highly recommend completing it for yourself as well, as it is a pretty awesome one. With the hides and mud we gathered earlier, we create an orc disguise, and with it we infiltrate the Blackrocks. Using the scorpion stingers, we assassinate some high-ranked Blackrock officers, making it look like accidents every time. We learn that the enemy forces in the Burning Steppes are led by 3 big leaders. With our disguise, we report to one of them and complete some tasks for him. We make ourselves look very capable, all the while sabotaging the enemy on every front. For instance, we are tasked with clubbing the lower ranked soldiers a bit, so they know their plays, but we club them just a tad too hard so that they die. After we've proven ourselves to the first of the 3 big leaders of the Blackrock, we return to Chiselgrip. Eitriggs tells us it's time to move to a new base, Flamecrest. This outpost will be our base of operations for the remainder of the plan. Once at Flamecrest, we are tasked with gathering several more items to sabotage the Blackrocks, and we have quite a lot of fun with it. At this point, Ariok approaches us again. He's gotten quite restless from just standing around, so he wants to come along with us again, killing some of the Blackrock Draconid forces and several high-ranked Blackrock leaders. Aside from killing things, we are to find a dragon, Eitriggs. Ariok has made a deal with this entity, and he says that dragons might just be the key to victory in the upcoming battle. Do you remember those whelplings we saved all the way back at Flamestar Post? We give these whelplings to Eitriggs, and in return he will help us in the upcoming battle. Quite a good deal. We continue killing things for a while, Ariok by our side, but eventually this comes to an end. Eitriggs wants us to report back to him for the final stages of the plan. Once again we put on our disguise and sabotage the Blackrocks once more, bringing them food for instance, poisoned with the fell slider cider which works as a laxative. The most important thing might just be this, however. During our stay around Dreadmaw Rock, the main outpost of the Blackrocks, we learned that another of the 3 great leaders is planning on summoning a pit lord, which would wreak havoc among the humans of Redridge. To control such a massive demon, one needs an orb of command. We pretend to deliver the Orb of Command to this leader, but instead give him the glass orb we obtained all the way back at the start of this questline. Now, this is where the fun starts. The Blackrock start their invasion. Most of the warriors are either clubbed to death or incapable of fighting due to the poisoned food, but they still go on to summon the Pit Lord. When the massive demon is summoned, our sabotaging comes to light, as it's just rampaging, killing all sorts of Blackrocks rather than going for the Redridge Mountains. At this point, Eitriggs shows up and we can mount one of his dragon friends to do a flyby. We kill hundreds of Blackrocks, and by now it's pretty clear the invasion has failed. We finish up by killing the 3 Blackrock leaders and at last return to Ariok and Eitriggs. Eitriggs deeply thanks us, as his work in the Burning Steppes is complete. As for Ariok, I'm not really sure where he goes. He just hangs around in the steppes, I think. There really is nothing to say for him during Mists of Pandaria, which is a bit of a pity. His story here has had a nice end, but now there's a pretty big void. He must have done something in this time to affiliate himself with the Horde, I assume, as we can see him by our sides when we assault the Dark Portal during Waters of Draenor. Maybe working together with his father during such an intense time got him to join the Horde, as he certainly was not a part of it before the Burning Steppes questline. Unless he was, but then it's not explained how he joined the Horde, living in Blackrock Mountain for most of his youth. Oh well, I'm probably just overthinking this. Let's move on to Waters of Draenor. The initial assault on the portal. Ariok is there as part of the core group surrounding Khadgar and Thrall. He fights with us, moving up to the portal, and while we do our part when we first enter Tanaan, he fends off countless Iron Horde forces. Then, at one point in the Tanaan questline, we have to go past an altar of Bleeding Hollow orcs. Khadgar asks us to distract these orcs, and he asks us to take Ariok along with us. It's very important to note that Ariok is friendly to both the Horde as well as the Alliance at this point. He does not really have an Alliance counterpart either. When we ask him to come along, he says, "You and me against an entire clan? Sounds like my kind of fight." Now, this is where it gets rather odd. Some of the Bleeding Hollow orcs are performing some blood ritual to turn a normal orc into a hulking berserker. As we interrupt the ritual, we are followed by an Eye of Kilrog. Kilrog sees us through this eye and encounters us together with several other Bleeding Hollow orcs. This is all fine and dandy, and we provide enough of a distraction for Khadgar and the rest to slip by unnoticed, but Ariok does something rather peculiar. He says, "I know what I must do," and jumps onto the altar, yelling, "Blood and honor," becoming part of the blood ritual. He transforms into a hulking berserker and starts smacking Kilrock and his entourage. I thought this did not necessarily reflect his character very well, as he was so subtle and sneaky in the Burning Steppes, making sure he succeeded. Here he recklessly jumped into the fray, but oh well. When I first played through this questline, I thought Ariok had certainly died then and there, facing so many enemies, but as of the Fury of Hellfire patch, I was proven wrong. In Tanaan Jungle, we obviously have our camp set up at Lion's Watch, and Geralt tells us about some funky assassin that has supposedly been killing Bleeding Hollow orcs around Zeth Gol, the main camp. We ought to find out the assassin's identity and see if we can ally ourselves with him or her. We trace the clues and find no other than the massive hulking berserker we've come to know. He speaks rather strange but recognizes us. He says that he was called Ariok before he became what he is now. Well, he's still Ariok to us, so we hear him out. He tells us about a cave that lies nearby where we might find Kilrog. So during that fight back in the initial Tanaan questline, not only Ariok survived, but so did Kilrog. I really wonder how that battle went down. We enter the cave with Ariok and find ghosts of the Bleeding Hollow ancestors. You might know that by this point, Kilrog drank the foul-corrupted demon blood and entered the Hellfire Citadel with Gul'dan. The ghosts of his ancestors know this too, and while they would normally have us die upon entering this sacred cave, they now wish for us to see what happened to Kilrog, so that we might yet stop him. We search for Kilrog's eye, which we could use to see him. Ariok protects us as we are attacked by several restless spirits. We use the eye and see Gul'dan and Kilrog speaking. Kilrog is afraid of the raids in Zeth Gol, but Gul'dan does not want him to pull back. He wants Kilrog to continue searching for the cipher that keeps coming up, the one that we also came across in the Legacy of the Iroquois video series. The two notice us peeking, however, and Gul'dan sends something our way to kill us. We manage to fend off Gul'dan's presence, and Ariok comes running in again, He asks us about Kilrock, and we tell him about that Kilrock now resides in the Hellfire Citadel. Ariok yells out that he must go and find Kilrock before he loses everything. I think it's rather weird that Kilrock became his prime goal so quickly. His whole hatred towards the Iron Horde is understandable, but why Kilrock in particular? Maybe we'll get the answer someday. We eventually go into the Hellfire Citadel, and when it's time to assault Kilrock, we see Ariok chained up, fell liquid pouring over him. We fight Kilrock in an intense battle and actually manage to kill him. If you kill Kilrock really fast, Ariok survives the encounter and we can free him. He is thankful to us for saving him, even though he might dislike the idea that he did not give Kilrock the killing blow. With no clear goal in mind, he just joins us as a garrison follower. When he said that he had to kill Kilrock before he lost everything, I thought that his transformation was too heavy of a burden or something, and that he might die soon, but he has been strolling around my garrison for the past couple of months, and he seems to do quite fine. Oh well, that's it for Ariok, I'm afraid. I do hope you enjoyed this story, as it has come to an end now. I wish you a pleasant day. Goodbye.